Friday night at the end of a very long week battling COVID-19 in this country, a virus that is really getting worse by the day, and it never had to be this bad. Never had to be this bad. Because we had the tools to stop this. I want you to take a look at this map. There it is up on your screen now, and how red it is, especially all across the South. I have covered a lot of angles of the COVID story this week, every week really, but this week, some of them really hit home. My home, your home as well. And I've learned a few things. One, our future in being able to get back to normal and act in healthy normal might depend more than anything on whether we can get straight to the people and take the politics out of this, straight to the people. There are some people who don't want to let us do that, and we're going to talk about them. But I also learned that this week there are way too many people unvaccinated for way too many reasons, or for no real reason at all. But almost every single one I've met, pretty much, when they got sick and they were lying in the hospital, wondering if they'll live or die, well, I'll let them tell me. Why didn't you get vaccinated?
Just hard time, I guess just didn't do it.
So you're not anti-vaccine?
No, sir.
You're just kind of ambivalent about it?
Yep, just touchable.
Do you regret it?
Yes, I do.
Tell me why.
Just, if I don't know if the shot would have helped me, or maybe it would have kept from getting worse.
What do you say to folks?
Open your eyes. Open your eyes. Take heed to this. There's nothing to play with.
Nobody's vaccinated at home?
Nobody's vaccinated at home yet.
How many of you?
There's 5 of us.
Children?
Yes.
Ages?
20, 18, 14, and 1.5.
And you wanted to wait?
For myself.
And what about for them?
I spoke to them about it, and I honestly think that they were afraid.
Afraid of what?
The time, how quickly the vaccine was presented. I think that was a big thing. For myself, I already had underlying health conditions, so I wanted to make sure it was safe for me, and we talked about it a lot. I didn't want to pressure them or push them into vaccinating. I wanted them to make their own decision. The good thing about me ending up here is everybody has said, okay, if Mom, of all people, got COVID, it's time for us to get vaccinated as a family.
I plan to get vaccinated.
And you weren't against vaccines?
Oh no, I've always taken vaccines. This seems so different, and just informational. I just didn't, I guess, get the information that I wanted, or thought, well, it's so different. I'm not sure it's going to be a good vaccine, so.
Yeah.
So
What do you say to folks now?
I think everybody ought to try to get it, yeah. Just, if it'll help prevent you from getting really sick, it's going to do its thing.
So here's the third thing that I have learned. There's way too much unhinged, irrational anger out there. Way too much of it. We have got to get it together, people. Why is everybody so angry? So now let's talk a little bit more about all of that. We're learning today that 3 teachers in Broward County, Florida, have died from COVID within 24 hours of each other. All 3 were unvaccinated. But Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis says no to mask mandates for kids in classrooms.
We believe in empowering the parents. They obviously want the government to force and to use coercion. Our policy, based on the Parents' Bill of Rights, is this is the parents' decision under Florida law at this point.
When did personal freedom ever become more important than the greater good during a serious health crisis? When did that happen? Same in Texas. Governor Greg Abbott banning mask mandates, including in schools. Some school districts are defying this ban for the sake of the children.
If we don't do anything, it could go as many as 2,000 new cases every day by the end of the month. So I felt it was time to step in, even though I may get in trouble, and I need to step in and just have some courage and make a decision that I think is in the best interest of the district.
And in the best interest of the children. Let's remember, kids in Texas are getting sick, and they're contracting COVID. Listen to this dire warning tonight. It's from an official in Dallas County.
In Dallas, we have 0 ICU beds left for children. That means if your child's in a car wreck, if your child has a congenital heart defect or something, needs an ICU bed, or more likely, if they have COVID, need an ICU bed, we don't have one. Your child will wait for another child to die.
In America, in 2021, in one of the nation's premier cities, one sick child needs to die before another sick child gets an ICU bed. Think about that. This is America. One sick child needs to die before another one can get an ICU bed. Because people won't take a life-saving vaccine or wear a mask. What are we doing? What are we doing? We're tearing ourselves apart as a nation. And it's not like it is helping anyone, except for those who thrive and profit off of stoking hate and division. You know who they are, and so do they. The White House now ramping up the pressure on governors who are playing politics with COVID.
If you're not interested in following the public health guidelines to protect the lives of people in your state, to give parents some comfort as they're sending their kids to school. Schools are opening in Florida this week, I know, in many parts of Florida. Then get out of the way and let public officials, let local officials do their job to keep students safe.
Keeping the students safe, and that anger we talked about. That's really shocking me this week, and you as well, because I've heard from you. It's really disturbing. Even with everything we have seen in this country lately. In Tennessee this week, an uproar by parents as the Williamson County School Board voted for a temporary mask mandate for elementary school kids. Watch closely. Same reaction as you. Embarrassing. It is really. Those are adults. Maybe the kids should be running stuff. A respiratory therapist named Kalita Perkins, who's worked in that community for over 2 decades, and who is a parent of she has school-age children herself, spoke at the meeting, pleading with the parents to support masking school kids, telling me that she felt completely ignored.
I felt hurt. I felt disrespected. I felt disregarded as a healthcare advocate for our community. It was a big blow. You know, I put 110% into my community.
And of course, what happened in the parking lot to one father who supports mask mandates.
Everybody's taking notes, buddy. We know who you are. We know who you are. No more music.
I wonder if they've seen this video, and I'm sure they have. They should be embarrassed by it. It's embarrassing. Grown, you-know-what people. He is a grown, you-know-what man, and those grown people acting like not even children. The man verbally attacked is Michael Miller. I also met him this week. The same day I met those patients in the hospital, in fact. He says that he feared for his life at the anger he witnessed, and he is terrified for his family's safety. But he says he is speaking out because that's not the America he knows.
They hide behind this label of liberty, Liberty does not give you the right to violate the safety of someone else, to harass somebody, to violently attack people. It does not give you the right to infect other children in the school and not have any regard for anybody else in your community.
Here's the sad part. Are you listening? At least 2 kids in his child's 6th grade class have already tested positive for COVID.
These are children under the age of 12 who cannot be vaccinated. I'm floored by any parent that would send their child without a mask.
I also met an Indiana doctor who was responding to the viral misinformation claims from another doctor, making it very clear that masks work in preventing the spread of COVID.
The way that the virus has traveled, they are tracked by masks. I think you can argue at this point what masks are best, where they work best. I think there are reasonable arguments to be made about masks and how to use them, but whether or not they work isn't really in the realm of reasonability to argue.
There's an old saying about freedom. Your right to swing your fist stops at the tip of my nose. Nobody's trying to take anything away from anybody, especially not freedom or anybody's rights. But getting vaccinated and wearing masks indoors, well, there are ways that we're going to stop the deadly spread of COVID. If people won't listen to the scientists, like Dr. Fauci, maybe they'll listen to the Terminator, who I'm now calling the Maskinator. And wow, does he have a message for those claiming it's all about their individual freedom. Arnold?
And the only way we prevent it is to get vaccinated, to wear masks, to do social distancing, washing your hands all the time, and not just to think about, well, my freedom is being kind of disturbed here. No, screw your freedom. Because with freedom comes obligations and responsibilities. We cannot just say, I have the right to do X, Y, and Z. When you affect other people, that is when it gets serious.
Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards telling me the same thing, trying to talk sense into people.
What every individual does or doesn't do doesn't just have an effect on them. It has an effect on everybody, which is the big, I think, disconnect between so many people in our country right now, is that they want to prioritize their individual right to do or not to do something, but you cannot manage a public health emergency in that regard.
So here's the reality. These are the facts. Nearly every COVID patient hospitalized, you listening? Nearly every COVID patient hospitalized right now around the country is unvaccinated. That is the case in my home state. It's the case in yours too. Now, I'm really not sure how many of you viewers out there listening to me are unvaccinated. Before this week, I would have thought most of you probably were, but now I'm not so sure. So if you still aren't, and you don't want to listen to me, listen to Jim and his brother, remember? Listen to Maxine, having to tell her 4 kids that she may not make it, and to Brenda, to get vaccinated. And if you are, I am glad. Stay safe, stay well, and let's take care of each other. So I just finished talking about all the people I met this week on this COVID story. Let me introduce you tonight to 2 more. The superintendent of a school district where an angry parent attacked a teacher over, you guessed it, a mask, and a school board chair in a district where 3 teachers died from COVID complications within 24 hours. And school has not even started yet.
People that I personally know, family members know that their families have gotten COVID, and now the worst case scenario, they passed away. And it's not fear mongering. This is real. We're living it.